Deep beneath the sands of Egypt lie secrets whispered by the ages, tales of gods, rituals, and an astonishing devotion to the animal kingdom. Imagine catacombs not filled with pharaohs, but with millions upon millions of mummified birds. For centuries, this incredible discovery has puzzled archaeologists and historians. Why did the ancient Egyptians dedicate such immense resources to mummifying the humble ibis? This isn't just a story about birds. It's a profound journey into the heart of ancient Egyptian spirituality, their intricate connection with nature, and a forgotten sacred industry that shaped their world. Our story begins not in grand pyramids, but in forgotten underground tunnels, vast necropolises dedicated to the unexpected. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, archaeologists unearthed catacombs at sites like Saqqara and Tuna el-Gebel, revealing an unimaginable sight: millions of meticulously wrapped bundles. These weren't pharaohs, nobles, or even commoners. They were mummified ibis birds, stacked from floor to ceiling, stretching for what seemed like an eternity. The sheer scale was breathtaking, hinting at a practice far grander and more significant than anyone could have initially conceived. What profound belief could drive such an immense and consistent devotion? Estimates suggest that across various sites, upwards of 4 million ibis mummies have been discovered, and many more likely remain hidden. Some individual catacombs alone held hundreds of thousands. This wasn't a sporadic act. It was a continuous, organized endeavor spanning centuries, a testament to an unwavering religious conviction. The effort involved in collecting, raising, mummifying, and interring these birds would have been colossal, requiring significant infrastructure, labor, and economic resources. It prompts a crucial question. What sacred power did this waiting bird possess that commanded such an extraordinary outpouring of devotion from one of history's most sophisticated civilizations? To understand the ibis's revered status, we must turn to one of the most enigmatic deities of the Egyptian pantheon, Thoth. Often depicted with the head of an ibis or a baboon, Thoth was the god of knowledge, wisdom, writing, magic, and the moon. He was the divine scribe, the arbiter of disputes among the gods, and the keeper of the cosmic order. The ibis, with its long, curved beak resembling the crescent moon and its patient, thoughtful demeanor, became Thoth's sacred animal, embodying his intelligence and his role in maintaining balance. To honor the ibis was to honor Thoth himself. Thoth's influence permeated every aspect of Egyptian life. He was believed to have invented writing, making him the patron of scribes and scholars. He recorded the judgments of the deceased in the Hall of Ma'at, and his wisdom was sought for spells and rituals. As the arbiter of disputes, he brought order to chaos, much like the regular return of the Nile. The ibis, a creature of the marshes and floodplains, was seen as a symbol of this cyclical order and the life-giving Nile. Offering a mummified ibis was a direct appeal to Thoth, a plea for his divine wisdom, protection, or intervention in worldly affairs. Devotion to Thoth fueled a pilgrimage culture. Throughout Egypt, people traveled to sacred sites like Saqqara and Tuna el-Gebel, not just to visit temples, but to make offerings. These locations became major centers for the ibis cult. Pilgrims, seeking Thoth's favor, would journey for days, carrying with them hopes, prayers, and often an offering to present to the god. This spiritual journey culminated in the selection of a mummified ibis, purchased from temple priests, which would then be ritually deposited in the catacombs. It was a tangible connection, a prayer made solid and eternal. Why specifically a mummified ibis? Egyptians believed that by offering a sacred animal, they could achieve a direct line of communication with the associated deity. A mummified ibis was not merely a gift. It was a vessel, carrying the pilgrim's prayers, petitions, or expressions of gratitude directly to Thoth in the afterlife. Whether seeking healing, prosperity, a safe journey, or simply wishing to accrue merit, the act of dedicating an ibis was a deeply personal and profound spiritual transaction. It It was a promise, a vow made manifest through a sacred exchange, ensuring divine attention and blessing. To meet the insatiable demand for these sacred offerings, the Egyptians didn't just capture wild ibis. Archaeological and textual evidence points to the existence of dedicated ibis farms, specialized facilities where these birds were bred and raised specifically for mummification. Imagine vast enclosures, meticulously maintained, ensuring a continuous supply. This sophisticated system indicates a highly organized religious industry, managed by priests and their staff, demonstrating the economic and logistical commitment to their faith. It was a large-scale operation, carefully controlled to ensure the purity and availability of the divine messengers. These ibis were not just mass-produced. They were likely cared for with a level of reverence appropriate for animals destined for divine connection. They would have been fed, watered, and protected within the temple precincts or specialized farms, ensuring their health and ritual purity. This unique form of animal husbandry highlights the Egyptians' deep respect for life, even as they prepared it for sacrifice. From egg to adult, their journey was consecrated, culminating in their role as a sacred intermediary between mortals and the mighty Thoth, symbolizing the complete devotion imbued in every aspect of the practice. Once an ibis was selected for offering, it underwent a process of mummification, albeit a simpler version than that reserved for humans. The internal organs might be removed, the body dried with natron salts, and then meticulously wrapped in linen bandages. Each step was likely accompanied by prayers and rituals, transforming the deceased bird into a sacred bundle, ready to carry its message into the eternal realm. The priests overseeing this process were not just embalmers. They were spiritual guides, ensuring the proper transmission of the pilgrim's devotion. The sheer volume of mummified ibis suggests a sophisticated, almost industrial-scale operation. Specialized workshops, likely attached to the temple complexes, would have hummed with activity. Embalmers, linen weavers, and artisans worked in concert, creating the countless ibis mummies required for the daily influx of pilgrims. This wasn't a cottage industry. It was a complex network, a sacred production line designed to facilitate devotion. It tells us that ancient Egyptian religion was not just about belief, but also about organized practice, supported by substantial economic and human resources. This immense religious endeavor wasn't without its economic implications. Pilgrims paid for their mummified ibis, providing a significant source of income for the temples and the priestly class. This income, in turn, supported the priests, the laborers, and the infrastructure of the cult. The practice fostered a unique symbiosis between faith and finance, where devotion translated into tangible economic activity. It was a thriving sacred economy, illustrating how deeply religious belief was intertwined with the very fabric of ancient Egyptian society, fueling growth and supporting a vast network of people. The millions of mummified ibis birds stand as an enduring testament to the profound and complex relationship ancient Egyptians had with their deities and the natural world. It was a civilization deeply immersed in ritual, symbolism, and a fervent belief in the interconnectedness of life and the afterlife. These humble birds, once living creatures of the Nile, became eternal messengers, carrying the hopes and prayers of generations directly to their God. They remind us that for the Egyptians, the divine was present not only in grand temples, but in the flight of a bird, in the wisdom of a god, and in the unwavering devotion of a people. The staggering number of mummified ibis birds is more than just an archaeological curiosity. It's a profound window into the soul of ancient Egypt. It reveals a society where religion was woven into the very fabric of daily life, where animals were revered as embodiments of the divine, and where an entire industry flourished to facilitate communion with the gods. These millions of silent messengers, resting in their subterranean tombs, continue to speak across millennia, telling a timeless story of faith, devotion, and humanity's enduring quest for connection with the sacred. Their legacy reminds us of the rich, often mysterious tapestry of human belief.